Game Advent+Invincible+Horizontal Push, games have descended into reality, and countless exotic beasts have appeared in the world. As humanity lives and dies, the career system awakens, and everyone can become a professional. Su Han traveled through time, gained the system, and awakened to become an SSS-level professional foodie. Eating the meat of exotic beasts allows you to gain attributes and experience, as well as the opportunity to acquire the skills of exotic beasts. Su Han's eyes lit up with green light, dividing all the exotic beasts into two categories. What tastes good and what doesn't taste good? Have you tried dragon meat? I have tried it, just like beef, it has a chewy texture, and braised pork is the best. This 500-meter-long squid has never been eaten before. A 9th-level monster. Yes. Is this an angel? It's just a bird that looks like a human, eat it. Handuan sat on the throne, holding a dining knife in his hand, and his gaze swept over the strange beast below. Today, who are you eating? Chapter 1. Gourmet System. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Donghai No. 1 High School, Playground. All high school seniors gather here. Their eyes all gathered on the podium. A middle-aged man wearing a black robe is standing on the podium, with a strange machine next to him. At the top of the machine is a crystal ball, with various spells floating inside, full of mysterious atmosphere. He was holding a microphone in his hand. Good afternoon, everyone. I am the host of this awakening ceremony. The awakening ceremony is about to begin. I hope all students can awaken to their desired careers. Have I traveled? Su Han stared around in a daze, without any reaction for a moment. Memories surge in like a tide. The original owner's name is also Su Han. This place is called Blue Star, almost the same as Earth, but hundreds of times larger than Earth. Decades ago. Game world invasion. Bringing countless exotic beasts, and even legendary gods and demons. Monsters descend and carry out massacres on humans. In just 6 months, 2/3 of human territory fell. The war between humans and exotic beasts lasted until the 2nd year, and professionals emerged among humans. Professionals killing monsters can be like a game, gaining experience and equipment to enhance their strength. With the addition of professionals, humans can finally compete with exotic beasts and gradually recover lost territories. Su Han's eyes lit up. I don't know what powerful profession I can awaken from. At least I am also a traveler, so there must be some benefits, right? A sense of anticipation arose in his heart. The black-robed man held a list and said, the awakening ceremony is now starting. The first one, Zhao Xiaowei. A skinny boy trembled all over. Take a step forward and slowly walk onto the stage. The black-robed man pointed to the machine next to him and said, put your hand on the crystal ball, close your eyes and feel it. Yes. Zhao Xiaowei swallowed his saliva, placed his hand on the crystal ball, and closed his eyes tightly. For a moment, the crystal ball lit up with a faint stick-like glow. A chef's knife appeared inside the crystal ball. The black-robed man announced, Zhao Xiaowei, an E.level lifestyle professional, chef. Zhao Xiaowei walked down the stage in a daze, standing at the end of the line with his head down, while the homeroom teacher stood on the side to comfort him. Whispers echoed around. Zhao Xiaowei is really miserable. He is actually an E.level life profession, the lower class among the lower class. He has been working in the kitchen all his life, it's impossible for him to turn over. God bless me, I hope I'm not an E.level life profession. He is a supporting role at first sight. How can he compare with a leading role like me? I must be an S.class career, and I will be recruited by Longguo University. You all have to kneel and lick me. Su Han gave Zhao Xiaowei a sympathetic glance, feeling a bit nervous. If you awaken a useless profession like Zhao Xiaowei, then this life will be over. Next up, Li Bin. A boy walked up to the podium and placed his hand on the crystal ball. The crystal ball shines brightly. Compared to Zhao Xiaowei, it is much stronger. In the center of the crystal ball, a shadow of a large sword appeared. The black-robed man announced, Li Bin, a C-level combat profession, is a heavy sword warrior. Li Bin's face showed a look of ecstasy. Cool. Ha ha ha, I'm a C-level combat profession. Everyone below cast envious gazes. C-level combat professions can also be considered top-notch in the city. Entering a professional university is certain. Many people envy Li Bin, and some girls are discussing how to hold Li Bin's thigh. The black-robed people called out one by one. Classmates take turns coming on stage. Those who awaken to become combat professions all have excited smiles on their faces. And those who became living professions all walk down the stage with a forced expression, without saying a word. The homeroom teacher is enlightening one by one, and they are almost too busy to come over. Next up, Su Li. Upon hearing this name, everyone looked up at the podium. I saw a delicate and graceful girl step onto the stage, bowing slightly in respect of the black-robed man. This girl is wearing a simple white T-shirt on her upper body, fully highlighting her proud figure. Her lower body was wearing a pink short skirt, revealing two thighs that looked like jade lotus roots. Many boys show admiration and greed in their eyes. Some even drool. Su Li is their high school flower. A gentle personality and explosive figure, revered by many boys as goddesses. Su Han couldn't help but take two more glances. Well, looking thin and weak, I didn't expect my figure to explode like this. Su Li gently pressed her jade hand onto the crystal ball and slowly closed her eyes. The crystal ball blooms with a brilliant milky white light, like a brilliant sun. Everyone present, including teachers and school leaders, stared in shock. Even the calm black-robed man couldn't resist the shock and surprise in his eyes, and loudly announced, Su Li, S-level combat profession, holy priest. Hush. Everyone took a deep breath. The principal suddenly bounced up from the chair, not even noticing that the chair had fallen to the ground. Did I hear you right? S-level combat profession. The principal became trembling when speaking, and his face turned even more red, like a tomato. The teaching director nodded repeatedly and clenched his fist excitedly, saying, That's right, principal. It's an S-level combat profession. It's developed. It's developed. Our school is developed. Ha ha ha. The principal disregarded his own image and burst into laughter. S-level, this is an S-level combat profession. Since the establishment of the school, the best student is just an A-level life profession and a great inventor. Now there's an S-level combat class. It will definitely cause a sensation in major professional universities. The principal seemed to have seen his promotion to the position of director of the Education Bureau of Donghai City. Su Han looked envious. If only I could also awaken the S-level combat profession myself. I will definitely have no worries about food and drink in this life. Su Li walked down the stage with a shocked expression on her small face. Classmates all leaned in and even the teacher couldn't help but interject a few words. The black-robed man cleared his throat and continued, Next up, Su Han. Su Han, whose body trembled. Finally, it's my turn. He suppressed his inner excitement and walked onto the stage, placing his hand on the crystal ball, feeling it carefully. The crystal ball bloomed with a faint light. A shadow of a knife and fork appeared in the crystal ball. The black-robed man spoke expressionlessly, Su Han, D-level life profession, foodie. A murmur echoed from below. Oh, foodie. Isn't this just a foodie? Su Han's academic performance is good, but his luck is also too bad. He's not as good as Zhao Xiaowei's chef, at least it's easier to find a job. The gourmet claims to taste delicious food, but in reality, he only knows how to eat and doesn't know anything else. Who would want this kind of rice barrel? It's estimated that his future life will be difficult. Su Han stood on the stage in a daze. He was not hit. But just now a mechanical synthesized sound sounded in his ear. Detected successful awakening of the host to become a foodie, activation of the foodie system, and fusion with the host. Chapter 2. Team up with the school flower. You are listening at novel full.audio. Golden Finger. Here comes the essential golden finger for travelers. Su Han felt ecstatic in his heart, but on the surface, he remained calm and walked off the podium. The homeroom teacher came over as usual to comfort Su Han with a few words. Su Han handled it perfunctorily. He doesn't have the heart to listen to the class teacher's comfort now. He wants to know, what exactly is the function of this foodie system? Soon, the mechanical synthesizer sounded again. The integration of the Gourmet system has been successful, and the D.level lifestyle professional gourmet has been promoted to the SSS level all.around professional gourmet. Obtaining the beginner's gift package, may I ask if it has been activated? Su Han was a bit confused by these series of prompts. But he immediately reacted and nodded, saying, turn it on. The system prompt sounded, congratulations to the host for obtaining 1 mysterious beast meat, 1 gourmet guidebook, and 1 special skill book. Su Han's heart was so excited that it almost stopped beating. SSS level versatile profession. Just now, Su Li's awakening of the S.level combat profession holy pastor was enough to shock the entire audience. If you let others know that you are an SSS level profession, you may have to dissect yourself. Before your strength improves, it's better to keep a low profile. Su Han asked in his heart, system, what's special about this great foodie? Can you introduce it to me? The system sounded. The great foodie gains experience or attribute enhancements while tasting exotic animal meat. The amount of attribute enhancements is related to the quality of the exotic animal meat, and a significant improvement is obtained on the first taste. And there is a chance to randomly acquire a certain skill of the exotic beast while tasting its meat, and each exotic beast can only acquire 1 skill. Su Han was stunned. Bully. This is really amazing. Truly deserving of SSS level all.around profession. As long as you eat meat, you can improve your attributes and even upgrade. The most important thing is to have a chance to acquire the skills of exotic beasts. It's just a miracle. The skills possessed by each profession are limited. The higher the occupational level, the more skills one can possess. Besides, if you want to acquire skills, you can only rely on skill books. But every skill book can sell for over $1 million outside, even if it has a price but no market. Each person can only use skill books 5 times in their lifetime. It can be imagined the importance of skills. Skills that are precious to others can be obtained by eating meat with Su Han. If others know, why not jump up and curse at you? By the way, apart from career advancement, there are also 3 things given in the beginner's gift package. That portion of meat is not in a hurry for now. He asked, system, what is a gourmet guidebook? The system replied, to become a qualified foodie, one must be familiar with everything, including what can and cannot be eaten, what is delicious and what is not, all of which must be included in the guidebook. Whenever the host tastes the meat of a strange beast, it can be recorded in the guidebook. Collecting guidebooks can complete guidebook achievements and earn mysterious rewards. Every time you complete 100 collections, you can receive a mysterious grand prize. Not bad. Collecting a guidebook is just a breeze, and you can also earn achievement rewards. And completing 100 collections and winning a mysterious prize. Su Han had some expectations in his heart. What good thing will this mysterious grand prize be? Can special skill books be learned now? Sure, may I ask if you want to learn immediately? Learn. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the special skill Eye of Exploration. Su Han opens the attribute panel. Name. Su Han, race. Human, occupation. SSS level Gourmet, level. 0, power. 7, constitution. 9, agile. 6, spirit. 8, skill 1. Eye of exploration LV, 1, can view target attributes, has a 1% chance of discovering target weaknesses, and the target must not exceed its own level 5, all attributes are acceptable. For newly awakened professionals, each attribute has a maximum of 10 points. His attributes can now be ranked above the middle. Just as Su Han was looking at the attribute panel, planning to eat some monster's meat. The black-robed man spoke up and said, "Everyone has awakened. Next, return the podium to the principal." He nodded slightly to the principal, then turned around and walked off the podium. The principal came to the podium with a bright face. He held the microphone and couldn't help but smile on his face, saying, "Classmates, congratulations on completing the most important ceremony in life. There is still 1 week left for the college entrance examination, and the school does not arrange courses. The time is up to you. I hope everyone can work hard to upgrade, enhance their skills, and be admitted to a satisfactory professional university. The homeroom teacher will also arrange teams for all life professionals, so don't worry. If you have any further needs, feel free to raise them with the homeroom teacher. The homeroom teacher will do their best to help everyone." The conference ended and everyone returned to the classroom. Many boys who have awakened into combat professions come to Su Li's side to pay their respects, hoping to win the favor of the goddess. Faced with the enthusiasm of everyone, Su Li felt a bit embarrassed and kept reading with her head down. Seeing that Su Li did not respond, the others left in frustration. Su Han sat in his seat with a calm expression on his face. He can't wait to go home and see what kind of meat is the exotic beast meat sent by the system. After a while, the homeroom teacher walked in, holding a list of names. "Next, let's announce the grouping. Zhao Xiaowei, Qin Liang, Niu Dali, Dai Guanyi, you 4 work in groups." Su Han glanced at it. Qin Liang awakened a D.level combat professional archer. Niu Dali awakens the C.level combat professional Hercules. The other 2 are both living professions. There are 2 combat professions present, so there's no problem with upgrading. However, Qin Liang and Niu Dali refused. "Teacher, I protest. I am a combat professional archer. Teaming up and upgrading with other combat professions is definitely fast. Why do I have to bring 2 drag tanks?" Qin Liang stood up dissatisfied and said. The homeroom teacher glared at him and said, "This is an arrangement in the school. 4 people work in groups, with 2 combat professions and 2 life professions. Do you think life and career are useless? You still look down on them. Without them, it would be difficult for you to live a normal life. If you don't comply with the arrangement, you will be disqualified from the college entrance examination directly. Although we need talents to fight against monsters, we don't need stingers who don't obey orders." Qin Liang suddenly wilted and sat in his seat, looking unhappy but unable to vent. The homeroom teacher snorted coldly and continued to announce the grouping list. The next group is Su Li, Li Bin, Su Han, and Tian Fangchao. Su Han was taken aback for a moment. "Are you on the same team as the school flower?" He felt many unkind gazes casting around him. Why is Su Han in the same team as the school flower? Why? How could a barrel of rice be paired with the school flower? This group has insider information on the cliff. Humph, I think Su Han doesn't need to bring an upgrade, right? He's just a foodie. Even if he upgrades, what can he do? Can he become a big foodie? Ha ha ha. A big man actually needs a girl to take you to upgrade. If I were him, I would go buy a piece of tofu and crash him. Upon hearing everyone's words, a faint smile appeared on Su Han's face. He stood up slowly and glanced at everyone present. Do you envy me, everyone? Everyone was so angry that their teeth were itching. They wished they could pounce and beat Su Han up now. Su Han grinned and said, since everyone is unhappy with me, welcome to challenge me in the college entrance examination 7 days later. I hope you can beat me to tears and make my face look blue and swollen. Chapter 3. Sixth Order Young Dragon Meat. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Everyone was foolish. Isn't this guy sick? Are you begging others to abuse you? I think he has awakened to the stimulation of a useless profession. Forget it, don't equate it with a lunatic. I just don't like this guy. When it comes to the college entrance examination, I must let him know why the flowers are so red. Su Han had a faint smile on his face. Come on. After 7 days, it's not certain who will beat up who. The homeroom teacher said a few more words and then announced the dissolution. Su Han was about to go home when the two of them walked straight over. One is Li Bin. Behind Li Bin was a fat man with black-framed glasses and a pockmarked face. Hello, Su Han, since the homeroom teacher assigned you to be with me, you must be obedient. Since you have awakened to a useless profession, just like Tian Fengchao, behave obediently like a dog and lie down. Whatever I ask you to do, you must do it. Tian Fengchao agreed, that's right, you're just like me. Follow Li Gu won't let you suffer. What are you talking about? A crisp female voice came over. Su Li approached the three of them and looked curiously at Li Bin and Tian Fengchao. No, it's nothing. We just have a friendly exchange of emotions. Li Bin put on a flattering smile. Let's discuss where to practice tomorrow, Su said as he left. Li Bin smiled and said, of course we're going to the east of the city to forge iron and carry pigs. Iron-backed pigs are relatively bulky. Although they have high attack power, they are easy to dodge and easy to fight. Tian Fengchao nodded repeatedly and said, that's right, Su Mimi. Li Gu has already studied it to help you upgrade. This way, the efficiency of leveling is very high. Su Han spoke up, I think it's better to go to the south of the city to hunt down the ghost-face ape. The iron-backed pig may be clumsy in its movements, but its defense is too high, making it suitable for magic professions to level up. Physics majors need at least 10 minutes to kill an iron-backed pig, which is very inefficient. But the ghost-faced ape has a fragile body. For your great sword warrior, as long as you hit it, 2 swords can kill 1 head, which will greatly improve efficiency. Li Bin took a look at Su Han and said, what are you talking about? I'm the captain, and I the final say where to practice. Su Li spoke up, I think Su Han has a point. The ghost-face ape is most afraid of characters with high attack power. Once hit by a large sword, it is easy to lose mobility, and others can easily repair the sword. The efficiency of killing ghost-faced apes is definitely faster. The school flowers all say so. Li Bin had to suppress his inner anger and smirked, since Su Li said that, let's go kill the ghost-faced ape. Su Li nodded with a smile and said, let's meet tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the south of the city. Su Han nodded and left straight away. Looking at Su Han's back, Li Bin's eyes flashed with a hint of ferocity. Tian Fengchao, what profession have you awakened and what skills have you acquired? I am an E.level professional actor, and I received a useless skill to pretend to be dead and transfer hatred. Li Bin's eyes lit up and a cruel smile appeared on his face. He lowered his head and whispered a few words in Tian Fengchao's ear. Tian Fengchao excitedly patted his chest and said, don't worry, brotherly, I will definitely complete the task successfully. Su Han can't wait to return home. The house is quiet. According to the original owner's memory. When he was young, his parents unfortunately sacrificed themselves for hunting exotic beasts and received a large amount of compensation. It's only with this pension that we can get to where we are now. System, Take out the piece of meat you got and show it to me. The space twisted suddenly. A bright red piece of meat appeared in his hand. This piece of meat is only the size of a thumb, and can be swallowed in one bite. What kind of meat is this? Su Han looked curious. He used his probing eye, and the information about this piece of meat appeared in front of him. Name: Young Dragon Meat, Race: Black Dragon Clan, Level: 6th Order, Introduction. Black Dragon is the only dragon race among all dragons who do not know how to use magic, but its physical strength is extremely brute, and its scales can be immune to most magic. Usage: braised young dragon meat in brown sauce, stir-fried dragon willow, roasted dragon meat, Su Han. 6th level juvenile dragon meat. I thought the system would just give a 2nd or 3rd level monster meat meaning, but I didn't expect the system to be so generous. Praise the system. Su Han found star anise, cinnamon, fragrant leaves, and Sichuan pepper in the refrigerator. Just start boiling the sugar and prepare to make a braised young dragon meat. After a busy period of work, I finally stewed the young dragon meat. Stewed for over 2 hours. The young dragon meat is still tough and completely unable to bite. Helpless, I had no choice but to continue stewing. Stewed for over 6 hours. The young dragon meat gradually becomes soft, rotten, and flavorful. The rich aroma of meat wafted throughout the room. Su Han's stomach was already growling with hunger. He picked up a piece of meat and sent it into the mouth, chewing it carefully. The rich meat aroma rushes straight to the brain. The meat is soft and chewy without losing its chewiness. Even if swallowed, there is still a unique aroma that permeates between the lips and teeth. Immediately, he felt a powerful force emanating from his stomach, rushing towards his limbs. The whole person was like soaking in a hot spring, warm and comfortable, making him take a deep breath. The system prompt sound is coming. The host takes the 6th level dragon meat for the first time, gaining 300 points of strength and 300 points of constitution. The host gains the skill of the young dragon, Dragon Scale. Hear the heavenly sound of the system. Su Han eagerly opened the property panel. Name: Su Han, Race: Human, Occupation: SSS Level Gourmet, Level 0, Power 307, Constitution 309, Agile 6, Spirit 8, Skill 1. Eye of Exploration LV.1, can view target attributes, has a 1% chance of discovering target weaknesses, target cannot exceed level 5, cooldown time of 10 seconds, Skill 2. Dragon Scale LV.1, Dragon Scale is incredibly hard and can cover certain areas when activated, reducing physical damage by 90% and magic damage by 90%. It lasts for 3 seconds and has a cooldown of 1 minute, absolute defensive skill. Weakens attacks by 90%. Isn't hitting oneself a tickle? And his strength and physique have increased by 300 points. Even combat professions with a rank of 3 or above 60 cannot achieve such high attributes. Even if he doesn't have any damage skills, the power of a single punch can easily crush people over 60 levels. It truly deserves to be young dragon meat. The system prompt sounds again. Young dragon meat is included in the Gourmet guidebook, hoping that the host will continue to strive. Su Han thought for a moment and opened the Gourmet guidebook. A virtual light curtain appeared in front of me. This is the Gourmet guidebook. On the left side of the Gourmet guidebook are dark boxes. Inside the box are 3 question marks. The first box is already lit. Inside is a petite and adorable black dragon cub. Below is a brief introduction. On the right side of the Gourmet guidebook, there is a task. Entering 3 exotic beasts into the guidebook. Incomplete. Chapter 4. Upgrade. You are listening at novel full.audio. The next morning at 7 o'clock. South of Donghai City. Su Han has already stood at the city gate waiting. He looked around. Many students dressed up gathered here. They are all students from various high schools in Donghai City, and after awakening, they are preparing to start practicing. Good morning. A crisp and pleasant sound sounded in Su Han's ear. Su Han turned his head and looked around. I saw Su Li wearing a white sportswear, with her hair tied in a ponytail, looking clean and neat. She was carrying a staff behind her, with a fist-sized milky white gemstone at the top of the staff. Just by looking at its appearance, one knows that this staff is definitely not simple. I don't think you had breakfast, did you? I also have a steamed bun here. Here, let's eat it together. Su Li handed over a steamed bun. Su Han was taken aback for a moment. He hasn't felt the feeling of being cared for a long time. What's wrong? Don't you like it? Su Li looked at Su Han strangely. Su Han shook his head, took a bite of the meat bun, and smiled, saying, I like it, thank you. Take a bite and the system will sound a prompt. The host takes first. Order iron-backed pork for the first time, gaining 3 points of strength and 2 points of constitution. Su Han was taken aback for a moment. This meat bun actually uses iron-backed pork. He finished the whole bun and increased his strength by 1 point again, without any other rewards. More than 10 minutes have passed. Li Bin and Dafengshou walked slowly over breakfast. He was wearing a light and thin leather armor, and behind him was carrying a large sword that was almost his height. You came so early. I thought you were going to be late, so it was a bit late. Li Bin said calmly. Su Li's eyebrows furrowed slightly, but she didn't say much. Since we're all here, let's go and practice. Everyone walked together towards the ghost face forest where the ghost face ape was located. I walked for over 20 minutes. They arrived at the ghost face forest. There is almost no trace of anyone else around. The level of ghost face ape is level 3, while elite monster is level 5. Without powerful combat professions, ordinary people dare not come here. The big branches and leaves in the ghost face forest are lush, blocking the sunlight and appearing gloomy. Su Li tightly grasped the staff, her delicate body trembling slightly, and she looked around cautiously. Don't worry, I'm here, Li Bin said casually. Su Han heard the sound of leaves rubbing against each other in the forest. He looked into the depths of the forest. I saw several figures, like ghosts, quickly attacking them. The ghost-faced ape is here. Su Han whispered. Li Bin pulled out his big sword and a sinister smile appeared on his face. I came to die myself. I happened to see blood on this newly bought big sword. Squeaking like the cry of a mouse. Su Han looked up. On the tree on the left stands a monkey. The monkey has red eyes, sharp beaks and fangs, and looks like a fierce ghost. It's the ghost-faced ape. Su Han used his probing eye to check the information of the ghost-faced ape. Name. Ghost-faced ape, race. Ape race, level 3, skill 1. Ghost eye confusion LV, 1, confused by staring at the ghost-faced ape for 5 seconds, will be confused, will obey the commands of the ghost-faced ape, last for 1 minute, cooldown time of 10 minutes, skill 2. Tier LV, 1, ghost-faced ape uses claws and fangs to tear enemies, reduces equipment durability by 10%, and causes a large amount of damage. Cooldown time is 1 minute. The ghost-faced ape had bright red eyes and stared at Su Han and the others with a resentful expression. Su Han frowned slightly and growled softly, "Don't look at it." But it was still 1 step late. Li Bin and Su Li immediately avoided their gaze. But Dafengshou's eyes were red, and he let out bursts of low growls as he looked at the other people. He was deceived by the ghost-faced ape, so first subdue him. Su Han quickly said. Li Bin stepped forward and kicked Dafengshou in the back, throwing him into the air. He fell and got stuck on the ground, unable to get up for the time being. Then he let out a low roar and quickly charged towards the ghost-faced ape with his big sword. The big sword, with a dull sound of breaking the wind, struck at the ghost-faced ape. The ghost-faced ape skillfully jumped up, avoided the big sword, and stepped on Li Bin's head. Animal! Get down here! Li Bin's face turned red with anger. He grabbed the ankle of the ghost-faced ape and forcefully pulled it off, landing on the ground. Die! The big sword struck straight at the head of the ghost-faced ape. Shoo! The ghost-faced ape twisted with force, and its big sword swung off, but it also cut off one arm. GG. The ghost-faced ape screamed, and its eyes turned blood red. It rushed towards Li Bin like a madman. But he was completely killed with another sword from Li Bin. Su Han watched as the experience bar increased by a certain amount. Sure enough, the experience gained from killing monsters at a higher level is very rich. In this way, as long as you kill 4 more heads, you can upgrade. Just thinking about it. Another 3 ghost-faced apes emerged from the forest and quickly rushed towards Li Bin. Shoo! The sharp claws landed on Li Bin, and his leather armor was torn open several large holes in the blink of an eye, bleeding profusely. Upon seeing this, Su Li quickly raised his staff, and the gem at the top of the staff shone with a brilliant milky white light. Therapy. A holy light fell on Li Bin, and his injury instantly healed. Su Han sighed inwardly. It truly deserves to be the most popular healing profession. With such powerful healing skills, it can save a lot of lives when dealing with leader-level monsters. But the ghost-faced ape also discovered this. They chirped a few times. Immediately, a ghost-faced ape rushed towards Su Li. Ah! Su Li's face turned pale with fear, she let out a scream, turned around, and ran back. Li Bin's face changed and he said, "Animal." He held a big sword and wanted to rush over to help, but the other 2 ghost-faced apes were like candy, tightly entwined with him, not giving him a chance to help. The ghost-faced ape was flying fast and quickly came behind Su Li. Its claws extended in an attempt to catch Su Li. Su Li's eyes were filled with despair. She felt her heart beating rapidly. At this point, a big hand grabbed her wrist, gently pulled it, and rescued her from the claws of the ghost-faced ape. Su Li looked at Su Han in front of her, feeling a sense of security in her heart. The ghost-faced ape shouted angrily, like a ghost, and rushed towards Su Han. "Be careful." Su Li's face turned pale and she loudly reminded him. Su Han is very calm. He lowered his body and hit the ghost-faced ape's jaw with an upper hook, sending it flying away. Immediately, he took out a dagger and plunged it into the heart of the ghost-faced ape. The ghost-faced ape immediately lost its breath. "How are you?" Su Li looked at Su Han in shock. She didn't expect Su Han to decisively solve a ghost-faced ape. "The fighting class I took," Su Han said casually. On the other hand, Li Bin also killed the 2 ghostly-faced apes, but his body was covered in injuries and his leather armor was already torn to pieces. Su Li performed another healing technique to completely heal Li Bin's injuries. Su Han checks his experience bar. It's already level 1. Each attribute has been improved by 10 points. Very balanced. How did I faint? Dafengshou walked slowly over, rubbing his head. Li Bin gritted his teeth and said, "Are you an idiot? I didn't know that ghost-faced apes can confuse people." Dafengshou shrank his head and dared not speak. Su Li looked at the corpse of the ghost-faced ape and suddenly said, "It seems like the equipment has exploded." Chapter 5. Rewards for Illustrated Books. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Everyone's gaze turned to the ghost-faced ape that had been killed by Su Han. Sure enough, a ring lay on the corpse. Li Bin's eyes lit up with green light. The explosion rate of equipment is very low, less than 1 in 10,000. And jewelry equipment is even rarer among the rarities. I'm afraid it's 100,000th. Even the most ordinary ring can sell for thousands of yuan. He will get up and go get it. Su Li immediately spoke up and said, wait, this equipment should belong to Su Han. Li Bin paused in his footsteps. Indeed, according to regulations, whoever kills the monster will have the equipment owned by them. This regulation is intended to benefit combat professions. But this ghost-faced ape happened to be killed by Su Han, theoretically it belongs to Su Han. He turned his head to look at Su Han and said with a smile, Su Han, give me this equipment. I will kill monsters faster and improve our team's upgrade efficiency. Do you think so? Tian Fengchao immediately agreed and said, that's right, Brother Li is the main force of our team, so this equipment should be given to him. Su Han, you must have no objection, right? Su Han shook his head and said, whoever killed it is their own. Do you want it? Kill it yourself. He walked straight to the ghost-faced ape and picked up the ring. There is a ghost-faced ape's head on this ring, which looks a bit scary. He checked the ring properties. Ghost-faced ape ring quality. Bronze grade, agility +5, skill 1. Ambush, can integrate oneself with the environment, making enemies unable to detect and oneself unable to move, duration 1 hour, cooldown 1 hour, introduction. The ring made from ghost-faced ape bones is not very attractive. Equipment requirements. Level 1, Su Han remembers that the equipment is divided into 9 levels. Whiteboard, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, epic, legend, immortality, mythology. A bronze-grade ring can be sold for tens of thousands of yuan even if its accompanying properties are average. And the skills that come with this ring are very practical for most players. He estimates that he can sell at least 100,000 or more. However, he is not foolish. Of course, he should keep this good equipment for his own use and sell it when there is something better. He was about to put the ring on his hand. Agility has improved, making him feel more agile in his body. Li Bin's face was so gloomy that it almost dripped water. Tian Fengchao was immediately dissatisfied and spoke up. Su Han, as a life profession, what's the use of equipment? Hurry up and give the equipment to Brother Li. Do you want our level to rank last in the whole school? As he spoke, he pretended to go forward and grab Su Han's ring. Su Han's eyebrows furrowed slightly. If the other party really dares to take action, he doesn't mind killing them. Anyway, there are many people who died unexpectedly by killing monsters. Who would have thought of him as a life professional? However, Su Li frowned and said, don't go too far. This equipment was originally produced by Su Han, so it should be his. If you dare to snatch it, I will definitely report it to the teacher and let him handle it. Tian Fengchao suddenly wilted. If you report to the teacher that they are engaging in infighting, you will be disqualified from the college entrance examination, and the consequences will be too serious. Li Bin's eyes were gloomy as he stared at Su Han tightly and sneered, since you want it, then take it. But you must be careful next time. He emphasized the pronunciation of the word, be careful. Su Han smiled and said, thank you very much for your concern. Li Bin didn't say much and turned to walk towards the bodies of several other ghost-faced apes. He rummaged through the body for a while, but didn't find any equipment. Tian Fengchao came to the side and lowered his voice, saying, Brother Li, how can we deal with that kid Su Han? Li Bin said coldly, originally, I just wanted to scare him. Since he is so disrespectful, let's just kill him. Follow the old method. Okay. They continued to hunt the ghost-faced ape. As noon approaches, the experience bar has also increased significantly and is about to be upgraded. Su left and said, let's take a break and eat something. We'll continue this afternoon. The others nodded in agreement. The task of cooking naturally falls on Su Han. Su Han set up a barbecue grill and skewered the meat of the ghost-faced ape onto it for grilling. In no time, a strong meat aroma permeated. Everyone divided a piece of meat and began to feast on it. Su Han bit down a piece of meat, and the rich aroma of cumin accompanied by the fragrance of meat permeated between his lips and teeth. Compared to braised pork, barbecue has a more fragrant taste. The system prompt sound is also coming. The host takes first. Order ghost face ape meat for the first time and gains 10 points of agility and 3 points of spirit. The host gains the skill of the ghost face ape, causing confusion in the ghost eye. Su Han's eyes lit up as he saw the other few people eating on their own, so he opened the attribute panel. Name: Su Han, race. Human, occupation. SSS level gourmet, level 1, power. 320, constitution. 325, agile. 31, spirit. 13, skill 1. Eye of exploration LV.1, can view target attributes, has a 1% chance of discovering target weaknesses, target cannot exceed level 5, cooldown time of 10 seconds, skill 2. Dragon scale LV.1, dragon scale is incredibly hard and can cover certain areas when activated, reducing physical damage by 90% and magic damage by 90%. It lasts for 3 seconds and has a cooldown of 1 minute, skill 3. Ghost Eye Confusion LV.1, confusing enemies by staring at them for 5 seconds can confuse them and make them obey their commands, lasting for 1 minute, cooldown time of 10 minutes, although it is an auxiliary skill, using it well can definitely have unexpected effects. By the way, the guidebook task has also been completed. I don't know what reward I can get. Su Han closed the attribute panel and opened the gourmet guidebook. Sure enough, the taskbar on the right displays completed. He clicked on the taskbar. The system prompt sound is coming. The host completes the gourmet's guide task and rewards one random piece of equipment. The next second, a piece of equipment appeared in Su Han's hand. A completely black dagger. At the tip of the dagger, there is a hint of blood red, as if it were a bloody opening. Su Han checked the properties of this dagger. Abyssal sharp teeth, quality. Silver grade, strength +20, agility +10, skill 1. Bloodthirsty, passive skill, where 10% of the damage caused by abyssal teeth is converted into health points to give back to the user, abyss set, 1/4. The 2-piece set can deal 10% extra damage to attacks, and the effect of the 4-piece set's bloodbath skill is doubled. Introduction. A dagger crafted from the teeth of abyssal monsters, sharp and bloodthirsty. Equipment requirements. Level 2, Su Han's eyes lit up. The system is really generous. Surprisingly gave away a silver-level weapon. He has seen Li Bin's big sword. Not even a whiteboard weapon, just an ordinary large sword without any additional attributes. Compared to this dagger, it's a world of difference. He looked at the task on the left. The task has been updated. Enter 10 exotic beasts into the guidebook. Incomplete. Chapter 6. Leaving the team, leader level ghost-faced ape. You are listening at novel full.audio. After resting for over an hour, everyone was ready to continue killing monsters and upgrading. The ghost-faced apes in the surrounding forest have been cleared, and they plan to continue to penetrate deeper. The crowd gradually penetrated into the ghost-face forest, and the surrounding light became increasingly dim. I've walked a while now, should there be a ghost-faced ape? Su Li looked at both sides with some fear. Li Bin nodded and looked at Tian Fengchao. You go ahead and take a look. Don't be like a useless person who only knows how to follow behind and only knows how to eat. You don't know how to work. Okay. Tian Fengchao gave Su Han a very deliberate glance and quickly ran forward. Su Li frowned and said, let him explore the way. What if he gets blocked by the ghost-faced ape? Li Bin casually said, his profession is an actor, and he has a false death skill that can break free from the hatred of monsters. It's perfect for him to lure monsters. Not for a while. A fat figure rushed out of the forest in a frenzy. It's Dafengshou. He ran panting heavily and his face turned red. Li Gu. Help. He followed 4 ghostly-faced apes behind him. The ghost-faced ape leaped on the tree and was almost catching up with Dafengshou. Li Bin quietly glanced at Su Han's position and then took a step to the right, getting closer to Su Han standing on the right. Su Han's eyes narrowed slightly, he had already guessed the other party's purpose. Are you trying to plot against me? Then wait until stealing the chicken won't erode the rice. He stared into Dafengshou's eyes, his pupils turning red. It is the ghost eye that confuses. Dafengshou felt secretly pleased and was planning to use feigned death to escape the battle. At this point, he felt his brain jerk and his body seemed uncontrollable, running quickly to the left. Li Bin was stunned by the situation. What's going on? Didn't I have already agreed with Dafengshou to run in the direction of Su Han? Why are you running to the left again now? Isn't this getting further and further away from Su Han? At this moment, Dafengshou suddenly fell to the ground, his eyes tightly closed, his breath completely gone, like a corpse. Now, the 4 ghostly-faced apes instantly lost their target. They all turned their heads to look at Li Bin. Blood-red eyes were full of blood, rushing towards Li Bin one after another. Li Bin's face turned red with anger and he said, Dafengshou, you bastard, deliberately messing me up. He turned around and retreated, wanting some of the ghost-faced apes to shift their hatred and attack Su Han. Su Han had already retreated to over 10 meters. Li Bin was almost furious, but he could only pull out his big sword and kill the 4 ghostly-faced apes. After a fierce battle, he barely killed 4 ghost-faced apes. And his leather armor was completely worn out, and his big sword was full of notches. He fell to the ground, panting heavily. Su Han looked at his level. It has been upgraded to level 2. Increase all attributes by 10 points again. Dafengshou walked over and saw Li Bin lying on the ground, looking disheveled. He was taken aback for a moment and said, Brother Li, why are you looking like this? Li Bin suddenly jumped up and raised his big sword, glaring at Dafengshou. You bastard! Are you trying to harm me on purpose? Dafengshou's face turned pale with fear, and he waved his hands repeatedly, no, definitely not Li Gu. Li Bin gradually regained his sanity and turned his gaze to Su Han. Indeed, just now Dafengshou was running in the direction of Su Han with the monster, but suddenly changed direction. It must be Su Han's hands and feet. Thinking of this, he turned his head and glared at Su Han. Su Han, is it you who caused this? Su Han glanced at him and said, what does it have to do with me? Su left his mouth and said, is it because Dafengshou has attracted too many monsters, or is it safer to kill them one by one? No. Let Su Han leave the team immediately. I suspect he is an undercover agent of the Abyss cult. Li Bin pointed at Su Han and gritted his teeth, saying. Su Li hesitated for a moment and said, this is impossible. Abyssal cults are an alien species active among humans. They believe that the arrival of exotic beasts is to cleanse humanity. So they constantly create trouble in human cities, attempting to assist exotic beasts in destroying humanity. If we catch the spies of the Abyss cult, there will only be one outcome. Death. Su Han paid no attention at all. He was already calculating how to leave the team, and Li Bin just gave him a reason. Since you don't welcome me, then I won't stay here, Su Li said as he wanted to say something more. Li Bin was taken aback for a moment. He didn't expect Su Han to be so carefree. Su Li anxiously said, how can you upgrade alone if you're not with us? Aren't you taking the entrance exam for a vocational college? Dafengshou sneered, how can I get into a vocational college for a useless life profession? Su Han glanced at him and said, I have a skill to pretend to be dead. I really think I'm a terrible profession. Maybe I'll die one day without acting. What are you saying? Tian Fangchao said angrily. Su Han ignored him and left directly. He plans to search for other exotic beasts. As long as he eats more exotic beasts, his strength will increase much faster than others. Soon, his figure disappeared into the forest. Li Bin said with a smug expression, I left with the oil bottle. This time, our upgrade speed is much faster. I should have let this kind of waste go long ago. I won't do anything here, I'll only share my experience. By the way, this is something he has to leave on his own, it has nothing to do with me. Su Li looked anxiously at the back of Su Han's departure without speaking. Su Han shuttles through the ghost face forest. No one saw him, he was at full speed, like a nimble ape. In just 1 hour, we arrived at the edge of the ghost face forest. His goal is the shadow swamp around the ghost face forest. There are many strange beasts skilled in using poison lurking in the shadow swamp. If you can acquire these skills, your combat effectiveness can definitely be greatly improved. He also killed many ghost-faced apes along the way. One person's exclusive experience directly promoted him to level 3. He estimated that his upgrade speed could also be among the top among all the students. Roar! Just as he was about to leave the ghost face forest, a deafening roar came from deep in the forest. The sound stirred up a hurricane, causing the surrounding trees to shake wildly. Su Han's eyes narrowed slightly. Intuition told him that there seemed to be a situation over there. He quickly charged towards the direction of the roar. 2 minutes later, he stood on the tree branch and saw that there seemed to be someone fighting in the open space in the distance. And the target of this group of people is a giant ape that looks like an elephant. This giant ape seems to be an enlarged version of the ghost-faced ape. However, the momentum of waving his arms far exceeds that of an ordinary ghost-faced ape. With a casual punch, he forcefully smashed a deep pit into the solid ground. Surrounded by fallen trees everywhere. And the 5 of them were like a flat boat in the sea, carrying the attack of the ghost-faced ape. However, the power of this ghostly-faced ape is too terrifying. With a casual punch, it knocked one of them away and vomited blood. If it weren't for the treatment from behind, I'm afraid I would have died hundreds of times already. An idea suddenly flashed through Su Han's mind. This guy shouldn't be a leader-level ghost-faced ape, right? Chapter 7. Longguo University Freshman Team. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Su Han concealed his figure and quietly approached, opening his eyes for exploration. Name. Ghost-faced Ape King, Leader Level, Race. Ape Race, Level. Skill 1. Skill 2. Skill 3. Indeed, it is a leader-level monster. Su Han murmured. The levels of exotic beasts are divided into ordinary, elite, and leader. The leader's level is the same as the equipment level. This is just a whiteboard level leader. Nevertheless, the combat power of leader-level exotic beasts far exceeds that of ordinary exotic beasts. His gaze fell on the people below. These people look very young, probably college students. It seems to be a student from a professional university. He squatted on the branch and observed quietly. The people below are entangled in a fight with the ghost-faced ape king. A boy with a long sword, dressed in a cloth robe and dressed as a swordsman, walked beside the ghost-faced ape king. He saw the time accurately and stabbed with one sword. The ghost-faced ape king has an extra wound on his body. Roar! The ghost-faced ape king roared angrily. Those red eyes stared fixedly at the swordsman. A fist as big as a fight swung out suddenly. The swordsman quickly dodged when he saw something wrong. Boom! The fist hit the ground, breaking a deep pit. The muscular man holding the shield had recovered and stepped forward again. The shield slammed fiercely at the ghost-faced ape king. The shield hit the ghost-faced ape king without pain or itching. But the ghost-faced ape king angrily slapped it. The strong man gripped his shield tightly, as if he was one with the earth. Dong! The fist hit the shield like a bell, causing a muffled sound. The strong man surprisingly carried it down with force. But there were also strands of blood flowing from the corners of his mouth, and his features were tightly wrinkled, looking a bit painful. A green light fell on the strong man, and his eyebrows finally relaxed. He spoke up and said, "Mimi, I can handle it. You keep your mana." The girl named Mimi nodded. The swordsman stared at the ghost-faced ape king and said, "Everyone, we just entered Dragon Kingdom University. If we can kill this leader-level ghost-faced ape, we will definitely be able to exchange a lot of points after returning. Everyone, hold on." Su Han raised his eyebrows and said, "Surprisingly, they are students of Longguo University. But how could they be here? Shouldn't they be in the capital?" Just as he was pondering, the swordsman continued to speak in command. "Zhu Junjie, if you use magic to attack, Jiang Yuchen and I will restrain and hold on to the hatred from the side. This beast's defense is too strong, and its physical damage is not significant. It's up to you." In the back, a boy wearing a fiery red robe nodded impatiently and said, "I know, you don't need to command me." He raised his staff, and a basketball-sized fireball quickly condensed, roaring and flying towards the ghost-faced ape king. Boom! The fireball landed on the ghost-faced ape king and exploded with a loud bang. Roast its skin and flesh until they are all burnt black. Roar! The ghost-faced ape king let out a painful roar. However, this pain further ignites its ferocity. Its gaze turned to Zhu Junjie, eager to tear it to pieces. "Not good, Zhu Junjie's magic damage is too high, this guy is going to divert hatred." Tang Mimi tightly grasped the staff and said in fear. At this point, a figure silently appeared next to the ghost-faced ape king. The sharp dagger plunged into one of the eyes of the ghost-faced ape king. The excruciating pain instantly made it lose its sanity, its claws dancing wildly, attempting to capture the person who attacked it. But that person had already dodged far away. Su Han looked away. That is a girl wearing a tight combat suit. A clean and neat deep blue short hair fluttered in the wind. The curves of the body are well proportioned, especially the pair of long legs that evoke imagination. Just wearing a mask, unable to see your face. Faced with the almost insane ghost-faced ape king, everyone retreated one after another. If caught by the ghost-faced ape king at this time, he will definitely die. Roar! The ghost-faced ape king howled up to the sky. Its one eye stared fixedly at Tommy. Although they are exotic beasts, the leader-level exotic beasts have some command. It knows that this person who can treat must be solved first. It took a step and rushed towards Tang Mimi. Tang Mimi's face turned pale with fear and he retreated in succession. The muscular man Wu Peijun held a shield and stood in front of the ghost-faced ape king, shouting loudly, "This beast can't hold on anymore. Increase your firepower and kill him directly." Other people saw this and began to use their skills to attack the ghost-faced ape king. Explosive fireball, sword energy slash, shadow attack. 3 attack skills fell on the ghost-faced ape king, leaving several wounds. Roar! The ghost-faced ape king howled up to the sky. The surrounding trees suddenly made a rustling sound. A few seconds later, several large ghostly-faced apes jumped out of the forest and rushed towards the few people. Su Han scanned with his probing eyes and found that all of them were elite-level ghost-faced apes. He furrowed his brows slightly and murmured, "How could this guy still find reinforcements?" These elite-level ghost-faced apes quickly rushed towards the crowd below. Li Yu's face changed and he said, "Oh no, this beast can even call out to his subordinates." He suddenly turned his head to look at Tang Mimi and Zhu Junjie. There are at least 4 elite-level ghost-faced apes around them. Zhu Junjie tightly grasped his staff and waved to drive away the ghost-faced ape, saying, "Animal, get lost." Tang Mimi held his staff and waved it in fear. However, these ghost-faced apes are waiting for an opportunity to sneak in. Quickly, several wounds were left on both of them, and even their robes were torn apart. Li Yu gritted his teeth and shouted, "Jiang Yuchen, don't worry about this ghost-faced ape king for now, save people first." Jiang Yuchen nodded slightly, his figure flashed, and he killed the few ghost-faced apes that were entangled with Tang Mimi. And when Li Yu wanted to help, several elite-level ghostly-faced apes surrounded him and tightly entwined with him. He gritted his teeth tightly, and a hint of sharpness flashed in his eyes. "Animal, seek death." Fingers brushed over the blade, and a fierce sword energy gathered from the blade. Sword cut. He let out a low roar and his long sword slashed fiercely at the ghostly-faced apes. Shoo! Sword energy swept by. The two ghost-faced apes couldn't dodge and were cut in half like tofu. Other ghost-faced apes were also seriously injured, with broken hands and feet. But before he could be happy, a big fist came to him. Bang! Li Yu flew backwards like a kite with a broken string, slamming it onto the ground and spitting out a mouthful of blood. Li Yu. Wu Peiyuan's face changed greatly, and he held up his shield and wanted to go and support. The ghost-faced ape king's crimson one-eyed creature landed on him and punched again. Boom! There is an additional human-shaped pit on the ground. Its gaze fell on Tang Mimi and the others. Jiang Yuchen's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. "You go first." She transformed into a remnant and went straight towards the ghost-faced ape king. The ghost-faced ape king's eyes flashed with a hint of killing intent. It still remembers this woman. The terrifying fist swung out again. Jiang Yuchen stared closely at his fist, on one side of his body, trying to dodge. However, the fist instantly opened and turned into a slap, hitting her fiercely. Jiang Yuchen's body was shot out like a shell, hitting the trunk of a large tree with bloodstains all over his body. "Yuchen!" Tang Mimi shouted in despair. Zhu Junjie gritted his teeth and said, "Hurry up. Go and notify the city guards." As he spoke, he raised his staff high and roared angrily, "Damn it, even if I die, I will pull you with me." Burst fireball. The blazing fireball gradually took shape. GGGG. The ghost-faced apes around rushed forward and threw Zhu Junjie to the ground, their claws falling wildly. The mournful screams echoed through the forest. The one eye of the ghost-faced ape king fell on Tang Mimi's body, gradually approaching like a small mountain. Tang Mimi trembled all over, her eyes filled with despair. Roar! The ghost-faced ape king roared up to the sky, lifted his fist, and fiercely smashed it. Tang Mimi watched helplessly as his fist rapidly enlarged, leaving his mind blank. The next moment, a figure descended from the sky. Faced the ghost-faced ape king's fist head-on. Chapter 8. Dafengshou, Salad of Assorted Fresh Vegetables, the King of Apes Suit. You are listening at novel full.audio. Boom. Two fists collided fiercely, causing a deafening roar. The ghost-faced ape king took several steps back in a row, and his massive body collided with a large tree, causing the trunk to collapse with a loud crash. Tang Mimi stared blankly at the person in front of him. She couldn't even dream that someone could punch back the ghost-faced ape king. And this person looks so young, it seems to be about the same age as them. Is he a genius student from another university? I thought how powerful your beast was, it just seemed like that. Su Han moved his wrist, and the pitch-black dragon scales on his fist slowly faded away. Roar! The ghost-faced ape king roared angrily. Several elite-level ghost-faced apes around quickly rushed towards Su Han. Tang Mimi's pupils suddenly shrank and she screamed in a sharp voice, "Be careful." Su Han glanced, flipped his palm, and a pitch-black dagger appeared in his hand. He plunged a knife into the head of the ghost-faced ape at the forefront. Blood spurted out. Immediately, He grabbed the head of the ghostly-faced ape and casually threw it away like garbage. Bang! The ghost-faced ape slammed into the nearby tree trunk, its blood streaks bottoming out. Then, he actually took the initiative to kill the remaining few ghost-faced apes. Swinging the dagger. Blood splatters. In just a few breaths, all the elite-level ghost-faced apes were hunted to the ground, with corpses scattered everywhere. And Su Han was bathed in blood all over, like a killing god. Tang Mimi was stunned. This person is too terrifying. Killing so many elite-level ghost-faced apes is like killing a chicken. These elite-level ghost-faced apes are all level 10 monsters. Su Han turned his head to look at the ghost-faced ape king. Although he doesn't know the specific health level of the ghost-faced ape king. But there is only 1/10 left in the blood bar. This is the fat delivered to your door. If you don't eat it, you will be punished by heaven. He grabbed the abyss tooth and flashed towards the ghost-faced ape king. Roar! The ghost-faced ape king was furious and raised his fist to fiercely smash towards Su Han. Boom! The fist fell but missed. Su Han, like a ghost, easily came to the side of the ghost-faced ape king, and the sharp teeth of the abyss fell straight down. Shoo! The dagger pierced a blood hole and blood sprayed out. The health of the ghost-faced ape king has decreased by a small amount. Su Han held a dagger and jumped up to the ghost-faced ape king, sealing his throat with a knife. The ghost-faced ape king's blood bar bottomed out, and his massive body fell to the ground with a loud crash. Whiteboard-level leader ghost-faced ape king, successfully killed. 2 pieces of equipment lay quietly next to the corpse of the ghost-faced ape king. Su Han stepped forward and didn't have time to look. He casually put 2 pieces of equipment into his backpack. Then he cut off a large piece of the ghost-faced ape king's flesh and stuffed it into his backpack, unable to fit it, before reluctantly giving up. He was about to leave when he saw Tang Mimi staying there. After some thought, he still walked towards Tang Mimi. Tang Mimi was startled and tightly grasped the staff in her hand. He won't come and kill himself, will he? Su Han came to Tang Mimi and crouched down, saying, I saved you all. The equipment that the ghost-faced ape king has exploded belongs to me. We're even now. Don't thank me, my name is Huo Lei Feng. After speaking, he easily jumped onto the trunk of the tree and disappeared with a few flashes. Tang Mimi stared blankly at Su Han's back. Live Lei Feng. This person's name is so strange. This time Su Han didn't go to the shadow swamp, instead he went straight home. At night, the strength of all exotic beasts will increase by 20%. However, humans are limited by factors such as vision, and the gap widens without any additional rewards. So few people go hunting exotic beasts at night. The city at night is also the busiest time. All the monster hunters who are hunting monsters outside gather at a bar, drinking, singing, picking up girls, and releasing stress. Su Han naturally didn't have the mood to do these things. He returned home and immediately took out both pieces of equipment and the flesh of the ghost-faced ape king. The first piece of equipment is a leather armor, and the second piece of equipment is a pair of boots. It looks like a set. Su Han rubbed his hands and looked eagerly at the properties of the leather armor. Ape King Leather Armor, Quality. Bronze Grade Constitution +10, Skill 1. Dodge, with a 5% chance to dodge the opponent's attack, Ape King Set, 1/2. Increases dodge rate by 10%, Introduction. The leather armor sewn from the fur of the Monkey King is lightweight and soft, which can help you better avoid enemy attacks. Equipment Requirements. Level 5, Su Han's eyes lit up. Good thing. This dodge is not just about avoiding regular attacks, but also has a chance to dodge chain-shaped skills. The equipment requirement is level 5. He killed the ghost-faced ape king, although he gave him rich experience, he only reached level 4. You still need to work hard to upgrade if you want to wear epithelial armor. Monkey King Leather Boots, Quality. Bronze Grade, Agility +10, Skill 1. Lightweight, increases movement speed by 5%, Ape King Set, 1/2. Increases dodge rate by 10%, Introduction. The leather boots made of the Monkey King's fur sewn together can make the wearer run faster. Equipment requirements. Level 5, equipment that can increase movement speed is a divine tool for professions like assassins. It truly deserves to be something that a leader-level monster has exposed. It's good. Su Han couldn't help but praise. The attributes of a single item in a set are not as good as those of equipment of the same level. The advantage of being able to assemble a set lies in the huge improvement it brings after assembling all the sets. This is far beyond comparison with ordinary equipment. Only the Dungeon of the Secret Realm will produce a set of equipment, which is also a coveted item by many people. And now, killing a leader actually gave away 2 sets of equipment. Dafengshou, salad of assorted fresh vegetables. Immediately, he looked at the flesh of the ghost-faced ape king. As both ghost-faced apes, I wonder if this ape king can still improve. Su Han, as usual, cooked the meat of the Monkey King in a pot and braised it. Soon, a strong aroma floated out of the pot. This is a fragrance different from dragon meat. It actually carries a hint of fruity aroma. Taking a bite, the taste is very soft and sticky, completely unlike dragon meat. He regrets not cutting more now. Swallow the meat in your mouth. The system prompt will sound immediately. The host takes first. Order Ghost Face Ape King meat and gains 30 points of strength and 20 points of constitution. A smile appeared on Su Han's face. Not bad, with so many attribute points added, it truly deserves to be the flesh of a leader-level exotic beast. Delicious, love to eat. The system prompt continues to sound. The host gains the skill of the ghost-faced ape king and calls for companions. Wait, call out your companions. Su Han immediately opened the attribute panel, pulled it to the skill bar, and saw this new skill. Calling for companions. Make the unique call of the ghost-faced ape, and nearby ghost-faced apes will rush over to help at the fastest speed. Su Han he wants to cry without tears. How about giving some other skills? I'm going to Shadow Swamp next. There's no ghost-face ape in that place, and this skill is simply non-existent. Can scorpions and centipedes understand monkey calls? Feeling frustrated, he swallowed all the meat in his bowl, rested for the night, and prepared to go to the Shadow Swamp the next day. At this moment, in the presidential suite of Lantian Hotel in Donghai City, Tang Mimi and his group are standing respectfully in front of a middle-aged man. Chapter 9. His name is Huo Lei Feng. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Tell me, why did you make such a mess? The middle-aged man's gaze swept over several people, with a hint of dissatisfaction in his eyes. His name is Zheng Zucai, a senior advisor at Longguo University. I am the teacher responsible for enrollment in Donghai City this time. Teacher, today's incident happened to me. If you want to punish me, just punish me alone. Li Yu approached and lowered his head, saying. Tell me about what happened. Zheng Zucai spoke calmly. Li Yu told Zheng Zucai the whole story of what happened in the Ghost Face Forest. Zheng Zucai frowned slightly and stared at Li Yu with a sharp sword in his eyes. You said, you've encountered a leader-level ghost-faced ape, and it's just a whiteboard-level leader. You guys are not even opponents yet. Li Yu felt a burning sensation on his face. He gritted his teeth and nodded, yes. Zheng Zucai frowned slightly and spoke with dissatisfaction, at least you are also the top group of people in Longguo University's freshman year. How could you, together, not even defeat a whiteboard-level leader? Everyone's heads were buried lower and their faces were burning. Shame, it's too embarrassing. The most top-notch expert among freshmen at Dragon Kingdom University, the genius among geniuses. Can't even defeat the leader of a whiteboard. If this were to be said, wouldn't it make the University of Magic laugh their teeth out? Zheng Zucai frowned and continued, since all of you were seriously injured, how did you escape from the hands of the ghost-faced ape king? Others dare not speak up. Tang Mimi whispered, yes. It was one person who saved us. He's very young, he looks about the same age as us. But he only used 2 moves to kill the ghost-faced ape king. And his strength is great. He can resist the ghost-faced ape king's punch hard and even shake him back. Everyone else's eyes showed a look of shock. Wu Peijun lowered his voice and exclaimed, is this person a monster? I have 98 points of strength now, almost breaking 100. That ghost-faced ape king punched me, and I can't even bear it. Zheng Zucai's eyes flashed with a hint of strangeness. He is certainly aware that the power of the ghost-faced ape king is around 150 points. Capable of withstanding a punch and gaining the upper hand, with a strength of at least 180 points or more. If a student's strength reaches 180, it is not a genius, it is a demon. If you can recruit such a demon into Dragon Kingdom University, then you will definitely receive praise. He asked seriously, Mimi, are you sure this person is very young? Tang Mimi nodded heavily and said, I feel like he's like a student. Although he moves very quickly, he's not as decisive as a monster hunter. Zheng Zucai asked calmly, have you left his contact information? Tang Mimi shook her head. Zheng Zucai shook his head regretfully and said, so you should have asked his name, right? Tang Mimi showed a thoughtful expression and said, he seems to have mentioned before that his name is Huo Lei Feng. Zheng Zucai nodded and said, I understand. You should go back and rest first, and also reflect on yourself. Tomorrow, everyone will give me a 5,000-word review letter. Everyone wanted to cry without tears, but could only lower their heads and leave. Zheng Zucai took out his phone and dialed a number, his expression full of excitement. Old Wang, you should immediately send someone to various schools to investigate and see if there is a person named Huo Lei Feng. The next day, Su Han woke up and washed up casually, then walked out of the city towards the direction of the Shadow Swamp. Not many people go to Shadow Swamp to level up. The exotic beasts here are too underworld. Not poisonous spiders, but scorpions, venomous snakes, centipedes, and so on. It is highly toxic and adept at hiding, and even a slight mistake can lead to being hit. Even experienced monster hunters are unwilling to come to the Shadow Swamp unless necessary. Coincidentally, this has become Su Han's paradise. Arriving at the edge of the Shadow Swamp, one could see a thin layer of mist enveloping the distant swamp. Su Han walked slowly into the swamp, carefully looking around to prevent any poison from attacking. At this point, he suddenly felt a chill coming from behind. Subconsciously, he took a step towards the left, and a snow-white spider silk brushed past his clothes, firmly sticking to the trunk of a large tree. Su Han suddenly turned back to look. A black spider about the size of a grinding disc is lying in the grass. This spider has dense fur on its body, and hundreds of crimson compound eyes stare fixedly at Su Han, reflecting his appearance. Behind the body of this spider is a flame-like emblem. Su Han used his probing eye, and the information of this spider appeared in front of him. Name: Poisonous King Spider, Elite, Race. Zerg, Level 8, Skill 1. Spider Silk Spray LV-1. Spider silk is sprayed to attack enemies. It is difficult to unravel when wrapped in spider silk. Cooldown time is 2 minutes. Skill 2. Poisonous LV-1. Poisonous king spiders' attacks come with toxins, causing them to become poisoned and have no cooldown. Just arrived and gave me an elite monster. It's really generous. Su Han pulled out his sharp teeth from the abyss and held them in his hand, his eyes fixed on the highly poisonous king spider. The poisonous king spider suddenly takes action. 8 spider legs, resembling long spears, swiftly moved and made a rustling sound, rushing towards Su Han. However, In Su Han's eyes, the extremely fast venomous king spider was as clear as a slow motion. When the legs of the highly venomous king spider pierced Su Hanji, Su Han turned around and easily avoided it. A sharp tooth swipe from the abyss. A sharp blade flashed past. The slender spider legs were instantly cut off, and blue liquid sprayed on the grass, corroding the wild grass in an instant. Squeak. The highly venomous king spider makes a piercing cry. It opens its mouth. The spider silk sprayed out again, shooting towards Su Han. However, Su Han turned around and still easily avoided it. His figure is like an agile swimming fish, weaving through the legs of the highly venomous king spider, but not touching a single speck. I played for 2 minutes. The poisonous king spider finally couldn't hold on, let out a scream, and its massive body fell to the ground with a loud roar. Su Han glanced at the level. Finally, it's level 5. He put on the Monkey King suit, which greatly improved his attributes. Name: Su Han, race: human, occupation: SSS level Gourmet, level 5, power 380, constitution 375, agile 71, spirit 43, skill 1. Eye of exploration LV.1, can view target attributes, has a 1% chance of discovering target weaknesses, target cannot exceed level 5, cooldown time of 10 seconds, skill 2. Dragon Scale LV.1, Dragon Scale is incredibly hard and can cover certain areas when activated, reducing physical damage by 90% and magic damage by 90%. It lasts for 3 seconds and has a cooldown of 1 minute, skill 3. Ghost Eye Confusion LV.1, confusing enemies by staring at them for 5 seconds can confuse them and make them obey their commands, lasting for 1 minute, cooldown time of 10 minutes. He walked over to the corpse of the poisonous king spider and examined it, but did not find any equipment. Helplessly, he could only turn his gaze to this highly poisonous king spider. How should spiders be eaten? Chapter 10 New Skill. Becoming Spider-Man. You are listening at novel full.audio. Looking at the spider covered in fur all over, Su Han couldn't take his mouth off. But if you don't eat it, you can't include the poisonous king spider in the Gourmet's guide. He gritted his teeth. Isn't it just a spider? Eat. With a flick of the dagger, it effortlessly sliced off a section of the spider's leg. Looking at the dense hair on top, Su Han almost vomited it out. He suppressed nausea, scraped off the hair on the spider's legs bit by bit, and then set up a barbecue grill. Take out the pre-prepared salt and pepper, 5 spice powder, chili powder, and salt. Slowly grill the spider legs on a barbecue grill. After a while, a faint aroma of meat drifted out. Su Han's stomach was growling with hunger. He sprinkled the prepared seasoning on the spider's legs and kept swallowing. It looks very good, try the taste. Click. The outer layer of bones on the spider's legs has been roasted to a crisp aroma. With a gentle bite, it makes a crisp sound like potato chips. The meat inside is like crab legs, very soft and tender. Paired with a rich aroma of salt and pepper. If you don't say it, you would definitely think it's spicy and salty crab legs. The system prompt sound is coming. The host's first consumption of the flesh of the first-order venomous king spider gains 5 points of physical fitness and 20 points of agility. The host gains the skill of the poisonous king spider, spider silk spray. Su Han was taken aback for a moment. A huge explosion of character. Surprisingly, I obtained another skill. He opened the attribute panel and saw the newly added skills. Spider Silk Spray LV.1. Spider silk is sprayed to attack enemies. It is difficult to unravel when entangled with spider silk, with a cooldown of 2 minutes. Su Han's face was full of doubt. The skill of spraying spider silk is quite good. Advance can attack, retreat can defend. But the problem is, if you spray spider silk with your mouth like that highly venomous king spider, wouldn't you become a spider spirit? It's damaging to one's own image. Just thinking about it, he felt something unusual in his left hand. Looking up, there was a small hole on the wrist of the left hand at some point, probably only as thick as a baby's finger. Is this just spider silk spray? Isn't this Spider-Man? Su Han's eyes lit up and his left wrist relaxed forward. A slender spider silk sprayed out from a small hole and tightly wrapped around a large tree 10 meters away. Su Han pulled hard, and his body took off, quickly flying towards the big tree and landing steadily beside it. Indeed, it's Spider-Man. Su Han was overjoyed. He searched everywhere for a target. Soon, it was discovered that there was a python lying on the trunk next to it, which was 15 meters long. The giant python stared at Su Han with cold eyes, its upper body slightly erect, ready to launch an attack at any time. He looked at it with a probing eye. Name: Forest Anaconda, Race: Python Clan, Level 8, Skill 1. Hanging LV1, using a huge body to entangle the enemy, the body becomes tighter and tighter, and finally completely strangle the enemy, with a cooldown of 30 seconds, Skill 2. Swallow LV1, Mori Ran can open his mouth and swallow an entire adult. After swallowing the enemy, it will be digested within 10 minutes, with a cooldown of 1 hour, Skill 3. Sweep LV1, swipe your tail to sweep towards the enemy and destroy everything wherever it passes. Su Han waits for the cooldown time of the skill to improve. And the forest python can't wait anymore. Boom! The massive body crashed towards Su Han. The place where Su Han just stood was instantly smashed into a big hole. Su Han watched as the cooling of the spider silk spray ended. As he raised his arm, the spider silk sprayed towards the python. Spider silk wrapped around the mouth of the python. The forest python tried hard to close its mouth, but its mouth was tightly stuck by the resilient spider and could not be closed. It's angry. The massive body swept towards Su Han. Su Han raised his eyebrows and was about to activate the dragon scale hard resistance. The tail of the forest python touched his body, and with a soft flick of the Monkey King's armor, it bounced him off the ground. Su Han was momentarily taken aback and immediately realized. It's dodging. His gaze fell on the python below, revealing a faint smile. Die. His body was like a meteorite, falling straight towards the forest python. Shoo! The knife light flashed by. The head of the forest python was heavily smashed to the ground, and its massive body was powerless to fall to the ground. Su Han landed and quickly picked up the body of the forest python. Just as he was cutting off a large piece of meat to continue grilling and eating. But I saw another piece of leather armor amidst the bloodstain. Did you explode your equipment again? Su Han was overjoyed and quickly picked up the leather armor to check its attributes. Snake Scale Soft Armor, Quality. Bronze Grade, Constitution plus 20, Skill 1. Relieve, can reduce damage by 5%, cooldown time of 20 seconds, Introduction. Soft armor made from snake scales is very soft and can withstand some damage when worn on the body. Equipment requirements. Level 5, the attributes are very average. Su Han shook his head, far behind the Monkey King's leather armor. However, it is a bronze-grade leather armor, and even if thrown into the store, it can sell for a considerable amount of money. Put away the leather armor and take the piece of python meat back to the place where the barbecue rack was just set up to start grilling. Soon, the fragrance diffused out. Su Han took down the meat and began to feast on it. Snake meat has more chewiness than spider meat just now, and it tastes very delicious. Soon, he completely swallowed the snake meat. The system prompt sound is coming. The host takes first. Order python meat for the first time and gains 5 points of strength and 5 points of constitution. Eating the meat of a first-order exotic beast yields too few attribute points. Su Han shook his head helplessly. If others hear him, he must be beaten up. The attribute points they add up to one level only add up to a dozen or so, with even fewer single digits. The gap between people is simply too great. Su Han opened the guidebook and took a look, having already collected 5 types of exotic beasts. There are still 5 types left, and we can complete the next collection task. I don't know what good things will be given for the next collection task. He continued to hunt monsters in the shadow swamp. From morning till night. He encountered the ghost scorpion and the rock lizard again. After eating the meat of these 2 exotic beasts, only some attributes were improved. Did not acquire new skills. And the gourmet guidebook only needs the last exotic beast to complete the collection task. Watching the sky gradually darken, Su Han pondered whether to return to the city first. Come back tomorrow, you should be able to hunt down new exotic beasts. But just this last exotic beast made Su Han's heart itch. Give it a try, it's only 5 o'clock now. If you walk inside again, you might encounter other monsters. Su Han murmured. I learned it in class before. There are at least a dozen types of exotic animals in the Shadow Swamp, which can be considered as the place with the most exotic animal species around Donghai City. Going further inside, the probability of encountering other different types of exotic beasts is very high. As he spoke, he walked straight into the Shadow Swamp. After walking for a moment, Su Han finally saw a crocodile head as big as a millstone lying quietly by the pool. A pair of golden vertical pupils stared straight ahead.